Hey everyone, this is Jack, and today I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks you can use in the game of Shogi. Now, as we've gone over the rules, Shogi is quite a complex game, and the first tip, is that Shogi is a much more defensive game, alright? The only pieces that you would really be attacking would be the bishop, the rook, the horse or the knight, and your lance. These are the basic attacking pieces that you have because the silver general and the gold general only move one space at a time and they can't cover ground like the lance, knight, bishop, or rook. They just simply can't. So you would see that most professionals, when they're playing shogi, they would surround their king, say, somewhere here, and with all this formation basically. So let's say the opponent wants to be aggressive. What I want to do is just focus on developing my fortress for the king. Most opening plays are like this, and for those that prioritize on a quick attack in shogi, they would sometimes bait you into this formation so that, for example, the bishop can trade, and now they would promote, and now you can't really take the bishop back. Now you can just take the bishop back, but he kind of breaks your formation. Now your silver general is all the way over there, and this group is basically kind of dead if they just attack the silver general. So what you want to do is basically get in a formation and try to remain as defensive as possible in shogi. Of course, there's quick opening strategies that prioritize on quick attacks and baits, but they don't really do well in a professional setting. Most people would choose to play the defensive style. Now, another thing is when looking at dropping a piece. Dropping a piece, as I've said, for example, I could choose to drop this bishop anywhere, and you really have to think about how this bishop is going to act. Okay, you can't just place it here for a simple check. It's just going to get taken. You don't really want to place it here either because you got to be careful about all your surroundings. And so wherever you place it is got to be important. And you certainly don't want to place it here because then what's it going to do? It can only move in this diagonal and it's very limited. So when dropping a piece, do be careful of when it's dropped. And it's not always the best to drop a piece because sometimes it's best to develop your current pieces first. Dropping a piece means that you see a really, really good opportunity for checkmates, attacks, to win pieces, and to solidify your position. All of these are valid. So the cost and risk reward for playing your move and dropping a piece, do be careful about that. And in shogi, otherwise known as Japanese chess, the rules are kind of similar. You always want to look for checks and attacks. For example, I could place the bishop here to get a quick check, and he can't really block me because all he could do is use the gold general, and I could just infiltrate in, out. I can move this bishop anywhere. I could attack, say if they have here, I can now move it here. I'm looking directly at the knight right there, and the silver general can't take because it can't move there. So when dropping a piece, always look for check and attacks, and just in general, they're very important. Lastly, about promotion, also very unique in the game. So what you really want to do is that when you're infiltrating with a big powerful piece like the bishop and the rook, your two most powerful pieces, when dropped to the enemy ranks, do always promote them because it just gives you so much more value. For example, if the opponent doesn't see this, you have so much that you could take, like take the rook and the pawn, that you couldn't have taken before. Same for the rook. And lastly, when you really do want to promote your minor pieces for the lance, knight, silver general, and pawn, they all move the same as a gold general. And a gold general's movement is very, very good at the second rank because then it can corner the king into just this, and when the gold general is protected at the end, say by like the bishop or rook, it's very powerful. Now with the silver bishop, the silver general, you do want to be careful because sometimes unpromoted silver generals are often more sneaky and can give more checks and attacks. But for the lance and knight and pawns, you do want to promote them because it just gives so much more versatility. For example, the knight can only move forward. So when it goes in here, you really want to just promote it so it gives more value, more movement options. For the lance, same thing. It can only move forward. Once you infiltrate it, please promote it. It just gives better checking opportunities. And so to summarize all the key points, play defensively. Be careful to think about when dropping a piece. Give checks and attacks, and always promote your minor pieces. But do be careful about the silver general because it might give sometimes a more of an advantage when it's remained in its normal state. And that is all the tips and tricks for Shogi.